Hello everybody and welcome back. We are about to continue on with the next part of the Rising event. We are back here on the shores about to talk to Pobliano for messages from distant shores. Pobliano's work is not yet done, which means that neither is yours, should you be so inclined. And after all you've already done, you're still willing to lend poor Pobliano a helping hand? You truly are a saint. Or perhaps you're just curious to find out what's in all these letters say. I couldn't blame you for that. I am too. Anyhow, what with how many of them are washing in these days, I don't suppose they'll be too hard to find. Bring back to me what you found, and I'll open them right up. My nails are quite suited to the task, mind you, so you can read the messages at your leisure. Okay, so this is a renewable quest. You will be able to play through this quest as many times as you want, and each time you play through it, there's going to be kind of a different message. And I'll explain all about that in a moment. But here at this distant part of the shore, we have 3 different types of bottles. Message in the bottles in the large, medium, and small. We'll go for the large ones. And once you pick one, the other 2 are going to disappear. Now, in each one of these types of bottles, there's going to be a very special message. And it's kind of at random what type of messages you get. So if you're only interested in earning the tokens to get the prizes and not interested in what they say, then that's entirely up to you. But I was interested in what the messages had to say. Is that a message in a bottle I see in your hands, or are you just happy to see me? Oh, just a little bit of both. Splendid! For doing your part to clean up the beach, I'm more than happy to furnish you with this spiffy, shiny, absolutely official Rising token. You'll want to hold on to it, and require even more if you can, so that you can exchange them for any of the wide array of exclusive festival goods and accessories available from our vendor. In the meantime, why don't you take the letter and find a quiet spot around here to read it? I imagine that gazing up at the fireworks over the sea would do an excellent job of setting the scene. Whoever wrote this, and wherever they are no doubt they want nothing more than for their words to reach an adventurer like you. Small bottle, letter 1. How quickly the years have flown by since we first set up that message board on an unassuming street corner. Seeing the many and myriad words written there each day never fails to fill our hearts with joy and gratitude. Perhaps most enjoyable of all to read are the announcements of various festivities organized by adventurers, gathering of fellow clansmen, adventurous journeys to far-flung lands, and all sorts of delightful events. We tip our caps to the passionate adventurers who pour their heart and soul into organizing these outings. One might liken them to a lodestone, drawing people in and bringing their minds together wherever they go. Finally, we would express our thanks to all of you who take the time to keep diaries of your journeys. It is a pleasure and an honor both to have a privilege of sharing in your adventures. With best wishes, the keepers of the message boards. Small bottle, letter 2. We hear that these days it's all the rage for adventurers to gather in small groups and paint portraits of themselves striking, stylish poses. As humble art supply provisioners, all we can do is supply the canvas, the palettes, the paints, and the brush by which such works of art can be crafted. And we realize that there is still much we must do to allow adventurers to fully realize their aesthetic visions. And yet seeing the masterworks you are already creating each day instills us with pride and the passion to continue pursuing our craft. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for allowing us to take part in this creative collaboration, and look forward to providing you with yet more materials to add to your artist workshop in the future. Wishing you eternal inspiration the art provisioners of Eorzea. Small bottle, letter 3. The other day at the Aetheryte Plaza, I happened upon a minstrel cheerfully strumming a tune before an admiring crowd of adventurers and townspeople. Impromptu concerts like that have been happening more and more of late, and I dare say nothing fills our hearts with joy like seeing people of all ages, backgrounds, and walks of life bonding over a love of music. To all the talented composers and instrumentalists out there, we thank you for providing a soundtrack to stir our own hearts. We hope that the music of Eorzea has served to render your adventures even richer and more memorable. Ever in harmony with you, a humble instrument maker. Small bottle, letter 4. I still remember the day, fresh off the boat after a long voyage across the Ruby Sea. I strode into the gleaming gold saucer. I found an open space in one of the parlors, set up my table, and began to stack my tiles atop it. Anxiety gripped me to the depths of my body and soul. What if Eorzeans had no interest in the dome and diversion I sought to provide? Would my long journey prove to be for naught? Fortunately, my worries soon melted away. Within hours, the Manderville tables were teeming with visitors, locals and travelers from far abroad alike, each more eager than the next to try their hand at the time-honored game of Mahjong. I am no mighty adventurer, and there is only so much I can do for this realm, and so I hope that, in some small way, the game I teach can serve to lighten adventurers' days and relieve them from the many burdens they bear, until we meet at the tables. An anonymous Mahjong tutor. Small bottle, letter 5. Lately, there is nothing I enjoy quite so much as walking the streets of Eorzea's residential districts and stopping to admire the many homes open for public viewing. Seeing the furnishings my colleagues and I crafted with love and care, tastefully adorning such warm and welcoming homes, oftentimes in remarkably creative ways, is perhaps the single most enjoyable sight an artisan can experience. At times, the layouts are so eccentric and unconventional that I fear it is only a matter of time before they come crashing to the ground, but I am nevertheless impressed with the sheer creativity on display. As for us, we who will do all in our power to continue crafting stylish furnishings and ornaments, may you continue to find joy in decorating your happy homes. With gratitude, a humble woodworker. Small bottle, letter 6. We have no strength to lend you in battle, nor can we craft wondrous items to serve you in your adventures. We can't help you win a fortune at the Gold Saucer, nor can we lift your spirits with a happy tune. At the end of the day, all we can offer is companionship. Whatsoever small comfort you can diverge from knowing that we'll always be at your side. And yet, for some reason, a reason for which we can only thank the gods, that's enough for you. And so we thank you, our friend, our master. Simply say the word and we will follow you to the ends of the world and beyond. For you mean more to us than you will ever know. Ever your faithful companions, your minions. Medium Bottle, Letter 1. The mighty walls of Udal were not built by one man. There were those that hewed the stones and those that polished them, those that carried them and those that stacked them one on top of the other until they reached the towering heights you see today. It is not just the walls. Much of what you can see in the world is, in fact, the sum total of the blood, sweat, and tears of the countless men and women whose names and faces you will never see. But there is one more who is essential to truly realize the creation of these wonders, and that is you. For without you, and all the efforts of those nameless artisans would mean nothing at all. And so we speak in unison when we say, thank you. Always remember that you are the reason we devote ourselves to our craft. With gratitude, the nameless artisans of Eorzea. Medium Bottle, Letter 2. A little bird tells me that Eorzea is a land where many a bard and minstrel plies their trade. Oh, what I would not give to visit that far-off land and hear the strummings with my own ears. Such is the vain dream I hold in my heart each day as I sit in this dark room pounding away against a great machine of levels, dials, and blinking lights. Countless sounds have been given life in this cold, dark place. Perhaps you have paid special heed to them, but doubtless many of you have not. There is no shame in this. On the contrary, this is proof that they have formed part of the natural fabric of the world. And yet, at some point in your adventures, if you would pause for even a fleeting moment to take in all the sounds of the living world around you, nothing would give us greater pleasure. In gratitude, the artisans of acoustics. Medium Bottle, Letter 3. To those who make a living in the world on the stage, audience reactions are everything. Each joyous cry, each unshed tear, we feel it with you, our audience, and then some. Even when the reviews are harsh, we do not look away. We listen to and reflect upon your every word, each time vowing to use it to provide more powerful and effective performances going forward. There are times when the poets and playwrights ask more of us than we feel capable of providing, but never do we back down from a challenge. Everything we do it for you, and we thank you for being an ever-appreciative audience. Yours in gratitude, a humble stage director. Medium Bottle, Letter 4. From the vast deserts and verdant forests to deep blue seas, from white-veiled snowfields to exotic townscapes, and sometimes even to distant worlds. Many a vista we have painted on our canvases, from familiar surroundings to far-flung locals. If even one or two of them have left an impression on you, then there is nothing that would make us happier. And yet, all we can do is provide the backdrop, the stage on which you, the star of this adventure, will shine. From skies of azure and seas of ruby to the gentle darkness that comes after the light, ever will we continue to put brush to canvas, that you might bring the world we draw to life. Ever with you, a humble landscape artist. Medium bottle, letter 5. Nothing warms my heart quite so much as when I see adventurers about town walking around wearing the clothes and fashions that I designed. At times, the color and outfit combinations are beyond anything I've ever imagined. This in turn inspires me to not rest on my laurels, but rather to strive to create yet newer and more eccentric fashions. So to you, who I may never meet and whose name I may never know, I have only this to say. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing the clothes of my creation to walk with you. Yours sincerely, a humble fashion designer. Medium bottle, letter 6. A tale is not complete the instant the author pens the final word. No, it is not until the reader then takes the tome in hand and the words enter their eyes, their hearts. Only then does the story told on those pages truly come to life. One could say that you are not only the protagonist of this grand tale of adventure, but also, in a sense, one of its authors. Your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, all serve to dictate the course of the story. And so we hope that you will continue to enjoy with all your hearts your adventures here. May you ever continue to breathe life into this world. Sincerely, a teller of tales. Medium bottle, letter 7. Hello, friend. Are you perchance enjoying the fireworks? You can be honest with me. After all, I'm just one of the humble artisans responsible for the show you saw today. To tell the truth, my colleagues and I are responsible for more than fireworks. Storms of pounding rain and bolts of lightning, auroras that dazzle in the sky, mystic lights and the glowing of crystals, the lights and mists that you see upon the stage are all crafted by our hands. Fireworks are a fleeting thing, are they not? They dazzle the eye and move the heart, but in the next instance they turn to smoke, then fade and vanish without a trace. Think just for a moment of how it must feel to put one's heart and soul and hours of blood, sweat, and tears into creating something that lasts but an instant. But please, do not misunderstand. We say this not out of bitterness, but with honor and pride, for nothing gives us greater pleasure than to know that our humble efforts have, even in the smallest of ways, helped your stars shine all the brighter. And know that we will continue to pour all of our inspiration and imagination into illuminating your grand stage. Yours in obscurity, a humble artisan. Large bottle, letter 1. Fledgling adventurer, I pray this letter finds you well. Though your journey has just begun, I sense you will yet make a name for yourself. We must all start somewhere, as I once did. And though not every adventure will lead to fame and glory, I have faith in you. Whenever your travels may lead, always remember this. You are not alone. When you stumble, there are those who would catch you. When you lose your way, there are those who would guide you back to your path. Perhaps someday, you will be the one taking the lead, showing others how it's done. Until then, keep fighting the good fight, and may good fortune befall you. Yours, a fellow adventurer. Large bottle, letter 2. feels like only yesterday that the vow sworn on the shores of Silvertear Lake marked the beginning of the 7th astral era. You may not remember me, but I was there alongside you. Well, figuratively speaking, as we launched the attack on the Praetorium. I'll never forget the way you cut through the Imperial lines, like a hot knife through butter. My unit would have been slaughtered if you hadn't arrived when you did. I was sent back to my hometown to recover from my wounds, but I wish I could have thanked you in person. Still, I'm grateful for the chance to see my family again, and would have you know that they appreciate your heroic deeds every bit as much as I do. Your comrade in arms, a fellow Grand Company soldier. Large bottle, letter 3. I can still remember the day you came swooping into Ishgard on the back of that dragon. I recall that it took even Sir Emmerich a moment to realize you were a friend and not foe. I must admit, I was one of those archers prepared to fire upon your draconian steed. It's a good thing I was wearing my helmet, as I have no doubt my face was beet red with embarrassment when we saw it was you. Having said that, I'm sure I would have been lost among the crowd, as there were fair few of us there to mark your return. Unfortunately, being one of the rank and the file makes it rather difficult to directly express my gratitude for your brave deeds, which is why I chose to pen this letter. Even then, I must rely on the tides of fate to carry these words to you, though as you have proven, miracles can, and often do, happen. Ever your comrade, a devoted temple knight. Large bottle, letter 4. I've been a member of the Resistance for years. Not that we ever had much luck against the Garleans. It felt like we went from one defeat to the next, our numbers growing smaller each time. But that all changed when you and the Alliance arrived. Your brave deeds turned the tide not only here in Alamigo, but all the way over in Doma from what I've heard. I'll bet those Imperials hardly knew what had hit them. Even though the fighting here has come to an end, we face a hard road ahead. We'll need to band together as never before if we are to heal the wounds inflicted upon our lands by the Garleans. And yet we have faith. After all, it's you and your comrades who've given us this chance, and we'll be damned if we let it go to waste. You have our gratitude, hero. Ever your comrade on the battlefield, a former fighter of the Resistance. Large bottle, letter 5. I snuck this letter on board a certain apparatus before it was sent hurling backwards through time and space. As it wasn't accounted for on the storage log, I could begin to calculate where and when it will eventually arrive. Even if I were to succeed in sending it 2 centuries in the past, the odds that it will safely reach the hands of that hero of legend are infinitesimal at best. And yet, it is not zero, and it is in that remote possibility that I place my hopes. My ancestor, the first of the name I now proudly bear, once told me that the hero he befriended was, for all of her many talents, above all a woman possessed of great fortune, fortune that suggested that the 12 themselves truly did smile upon her. In that sense, it's not unreasonable to expect that it is indeed you who is reading my words today, and so I say, thank you, my friend. Thank you for saving our past and giving us hope for a brighter future. And above all, please look after him, won't you? Yours, Biggs, 3rd of his name, 18th President of the Garland Ironworks.